Pledge allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please join us in a moment of silence. Item number 2 is citizen concerns. Any citizen to be heard? Anything that is not already on the agenda? All right, seeing none, I'll move on to approval of the agenda. I'll move that.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, that passes 5-0. Moving on to the consent agenda. Items 4 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 4A, approval of minutes of the May 24th, 2022 meeting, and B, approval of the minutes of the May 26th, 2022 closed session. Item 5 is approval of claims. Item 6 from Human Resources, approval of memorandum of personnel transactions. Item 7 from the county auditor. A is approve an application for 12-month Class C liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales privileges for Correctionville Golf Club, effective 5/25/2022. And B, approve an application for a 12-month Class C native wine license private club with outdoor service and Sunday sales privilege for Oscar Carl Vineyard, effective 6/1/22. Anything to be said for anything on the consent agenda?
The question is Mr. Auditor, why are we retroactively approving or considering approving a liquor license? Is that to just?
Michelle,
it would be when the individual submits their application, those are the dates that they put on them. And we put them to the board as the first board meeting's available to
So that
get
means
them on
they not
there.
necessarily have already served alcohol, but
They do not have a certificate from the state saying that they can until they receive it after the board approves it. So if you were to deny it, then they would not have the authority to do that. So if I would assume maybe law enforcement can address it, but if they showed up and they didn't have a permit, they're not eligible to serve.
curiosity. Personally, I'm not fond of approving things retroactively, but okay. That's as much answer as I can get. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Or actually, we didn't a motion. I'll move it.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. All right. We have a carbon pipeline update. I'm assuming that's you guys because you're the only ones that don't work for us for the Journal.
How are y'all doing?
All right.
Okay. I have just a few handouts for you guys. One of these is a county map, just showing the pipe through your county. And then the other is a little bit about the project, and then some tax numbers that I'll go over with you guys. There's more of you that want these too. There we go.
We need to receive these, Mr. Gill.
I'll move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any discussion? All those in favor of receiving, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Go ahead.
Okay, so you guys are pretty familiar with what the project is already, right? Okay, so really, I just want to start with why Summit is pursuing this project, how it came about, and I think that can be explained in two ways. So Summit Ag is the parent company of Summit Carbon Solutions. That's an Iowa-based farming company. And then also, I think it could be explained by the strong ties between the ethanol industry and the ag industry, especially in the Midwest. 57% of corn grown in Iowa goes to ethanol plants. So that's a pretty big number or percentage. So with this project, ethanol plants are going to be able to sell into growing markets that are going to continue to grow. And in return, the corn producers are going to be able to sell their corn for a premium. So without the project, what we'll likely see is the ethanol plants begin to struggle, and in return, the corn producers will struggle, and that leads to struggles for everyone, considering 57% of the corn, in Iowa goes to ethanol plants right now. So with that said, the overall goal of this project is to keep the ethanol plants open, keep them running, and keep the corn producers selling their corn for a premium so that they can continue their way of life into the future. With that said, I'll just move on over to the right side of this handout I have for you. For Woodbury County, I'm not going to go over the state specifics. You guys can look over that. But I will say that we did have these numbers run by a third party, Ernst & Young. So the total investment going into Woodbury County would be around $18 million. And the estimated new annual property taxes would be about $705,000, annually.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yes.
So is that taxation on the infrastructure, or is that like a alternative minimum tax of some kind, or some kind of utility replacement tax? Or
So I will preface this by saying I'm not a tax expert myself, but I do believe we're taxed on the asset, so the CO2, and then also the pipe, the easement. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Really all I have left is just a general project update, so like kind of where we are right now. Construction, we expect that to start in summer of 2023. Land acquisition, we have almost 40% acquired in Woodbury County. Permitting, as far as that goes, I have Riley here with me. He's been working with Mark, so he'll be the primary contact for that. Right now, we're just collecting information and requirements, but we're hoping to be submitting those fairly soon. And then we've already filed with the IUB. We're expecting that decision to be made around June of 2023. And construction, just going back to that, I didn't specify. That would be later summer of 2023, so more like August. And then as far as partnerships, we have 32 ethanol plants across 5 states. You can see the ethanol plants in Iowa listed on the lower right-hand side of your paper there. And then we're also partnered with the Minnesota Power Cooperative, which is a CO2 storage partnership. And then investors, we have a lot, but the larger ones, John Deere, Continental Resources, Tiger Infrastructure, and then a little over 50% of the ethanol plants that have partnered with us have also invested. And then lastly, community investment. At the end of the day, Summit Ag, Summit Carbon Solutions, we are a part of the community because we're Iowa-based. Summit Carbon Solutions is based in Ames. So we're really wanting to partner with the community, plug into the communities, whether that be through donations or volunteering. So that's just something to keep in mind. But that is about all I have. If you guys have any questions, I'll do my best.
So you have approximately 8.2 miles in Woodbury County. Is that through voluntary easements, acquisitions?
Yes.
So private landowners have signed
Yes.
contracts with you. And then as far as getting the other 12.312 or whatever that exact number is, what's the plan?
Well, I don't know the exact mile. I know it's
Or 60%, however you
40,
want.
20,
yeah, the other
25,
60%.
Right, but 60% of that would be the other 12.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, like I said, we don't expect the IUB's decision to be made until June of 2023. So we have about a year to work on that voluntary, and I assume we would still work on voluntary acquisitions through the whole.
So when you say the IUB's decision, you're talking about eminent domain and using for the 60% that's not able to be, approximately, in Woodbury County. You're talking about the IUB using an eminent domain decision to potentially make that non-voluntary. Is that a fair and accurate way to say it?
We would not want to use eminent domain on 60%. We don't want to use eminent domain on anyone. We want 100% voluntary
No,
acquisition.
I completely understand, but I'm just saying, if that doesn't happen, that's the decision that you're referencing that the IUB could potentially make. I know it's not a perfect world. Okay,
Yes, but usually that would be used if there's like a tidal cloud situation, we don't want to use it with disagreements with landowners. We want it to work with landowners.
sure. No, appreciate it.
All right, and if there are no other questions, we do have a set time coming up, so,
Okay,
all right.
that's it. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks.
All right, so we have our 4:40 set time from Board Administration, item 9A, public hearing on amendment number 1 to Woodbury County FY 2022 budget. Dennis, take her away.
This is our annual amendment. We usually do it in May. We're waiting until the last day in May this year. Our total amendment will total $1,425,305. I did include the breakdown here on these sheets here. The majority of it is in the engineer's office and conservation, where conservation is buying land and engineers do a little more granular and some asphalt pavement. They're actually getting more revenues in than they're spending, so you can see at the bottom of that second page there, revenues are $2.174 million and the additional expenditure 1.45. And I broke it down by department where the money's going, so if there's any questions on any of those, they feel free to ask. This is one of our smaller amendments we've had in recent years.
All right, so anybody to be heard on the public hearing?
So when you say, can you just explain the conservation is buying land, so that's an in and out, right?
Sewer
That's not
grant.
like we're really increasing, they've got a reap. Is that,
Yeah, they got a reprogram. Actually, 862,000. We're only spending 846,000.
okay. I just want to make sure that that's stated for,
Yep.
there's one person who watches the conservation land purchases more closely than others, so.
All right, anybody to be heard on the public hearing?
Hearing none, Mr. Chair, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Second. So a motion by Taylor, second by Raddick. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. 9B is approval of the resolution of the FY 2021-2022 budget amendment number 1. I'll move that.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 10 from Secondary Roads, Mark Nara. Item A, award the bid for project Perrin 146 to the low bidder and approve the resolution directing the county engineer to sign the contracts once a signed contract and bond are returned by the contractor for signature. Sounded like she called you Mork earlier.
Oh,
Have to watch the recording.
Been called for.
I'll have to go back and check. We had two projects go through letting with the DOT last week. Project Perrin 146 is a replacement of a box culvert. It's a replacement of a bridge with a box culvert up on County Route D12. The low bidder was Graves Construction at $541,346.30. I recommend award of the bid.
I'll move that.
Second, motion by DeWitt, second by Raddick. Any discussion? Seems like pretty cheap for bridge and box culvert.
No,
You don't think so?
no.
It's not a big one then, huh?
It's a good-sized twin box. I think it's a 12 by 8.
Okay.
But we would have been paying well under $500,000 for this
Really?
12 to 15 months ago, yeah. Yeah, this is the highest price we've ever seen on concrete, $675 a cubic yard. Reinforcing steel was high on this box as well.
Sure.
We're recommending award because it's just the nature of where prices have been going over the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Our contract with Dixon on M299, that's item C, it was the same cost regimen that we're looking at now. We're in a period where our money isn't going to be going as far for a while.
Sure. Any other discussion on 10A? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. 10B is award the bid for Perrin 148 to the low bidder and approve the resolution directing the county engineer to sign the contracts once the signed contract and bond are returned by the contractor for signature.
I would mention we had two bidders on the first project, Graves Construction being the low bidder. Dixon was second at $675,937. On Perrin 148, we had four bidders. I recommend award to Graves Construction at $1,542,860.84. They were the low bidder. And,
I'll move that.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any discussion on 10B? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. And item C is approve the contract and bond for project Perrin M299 with Dixon Construction for $350,180.94.
did we get the resolution giving me authority to sign both of those as well in that motion?
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, there's an approval of a resolution as well on the bid item.
Well, I'll move to approve the resolution for 10A.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. And I'll move the resolution for 10B.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Back to 10C there. Did we have a motion and second on that? Or we passed that, didn't we?
Motion yet, I don't think. To approve the contract for M299?
Okay, we didn't have the motion yet. Okay. I'll move it.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by DeWitt. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0.
We did have four bidders on that 10B project as well. So the range was fairly tight from $1,542,000 to $1,630,000, I think it was. That's a pretty tight set of bids. Final one is to approve the contract for project number M299 with Dixon Construction for $350,180.94.
I think we just moved that, didn't we?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
not a problem. Well, we saw it last week, so,
Did you vote?
yeah.
Oh, well then I'll just give you the paperwork to sign.
All right. Well, that's a lot.
Yes, 3 contracts, 3 bonds. That's all I have for you.
All right, thank you. And we'll move on to reports on committee meetings. Go ahead.
So I had a lengthy Rolling Hills meeting, and a few things of note. The IRSH Center, which is Intensive Residential Services, that's for folks who have complex needs, will most likely be opening in Sioux City, maybe a second one in Cherokee County. The Access Center, which, as you know, is a state-mandated core service, is set to open. All core services should be in place by July 1st of this coming year, along with the Crisis Stabilization Center. Those are the biggies. $26,000 is dedicated in advertising so that folks who find themselves in suicide ideation and crisis utilize our Crisis and Stabilization Center rather than the hospitals. And we continue to talk the MOU and 2080, which may make its way back before this board as far as who is an employee of whom. And the last discussion is if somebody doesn't live in any one of the counties, for example, lives in North Sioux or South Sioux, that person would be a Woodbury County employee. It's by closest county. So that's the latest development.
As the crow flies.
All right, all right.
Rocky, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Matthew?
I have an upcoming meeting I'll be in Austin for the Government Finance Officers Association Annual Conference, so I'll be calling into the next meeting.
All right. And then, did you have anything committee-wise? Went to the landfill meeting. We discussed potential for the new contract, but there's discussion basically on whether or not Sergeant Bluff is going to stay in or not be in, or so they got to decide before they get the real numbers all in. So that was discussed. I had certs and SRTPA with Simcoe. Certs, obviously, we got a, building kind of, what do you call that, a update on the process, and it's moving along as expected, so everything's going well so far on that. Item 12, citizen concerns. Anything, Caitlin? All right. Item 13, board concerns. Any? Okay. I got an email from the mayor of Anton Thursday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. Works as a out in the county meeting if anyone has any objections to that.
In addition to our regular meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the date again?
Thursday, June 23rd, 7 p.m.
I won't be able to make it.
Okay. Anton. I'll let her know that works. Any other, if nothing else, we're adjourned.